The Nicolson 50 and also the 25, 75 and 100 are awarded to those who achieve the given number of peaks when climbing from Lochearnhead Scout Station in the Perthshire Hills. Last summer, a group of us decided to see if it was possible to do the 50 in a fortnight. Quite a formidable undertaking in time, and it would not have been possible without a highly organised base team to transport us to the various ranges of mountains and provide us with fresh food and dry clothing when necessary. This film is the record of 1.5 days in the mountains round Glen Coe, during which we climbed 9 of the 50 peaks. When walking in such districts, we have to take everything we need on our backs. Thus, for months previously, we had been selecting and modifying our kits to make them as light as possible without sacrificing comfort or safety. One of the main problems we had was to find a campsite which was reasonably flat, sheltered from the wind and near water, and also high enough to reduce the amount we would have to climb the next day. The tents we used were tinkers with fly sheets, which are essential to keep out the very heavy wind and rain often experienced in these hills. One of the greatest pleasures at the end of a long day's hiking is to take off your boots and have a good wash before turning in for the night. During the night, 1.5 inches of rain fell, and it was still drizzling when we started to prepare breakfast. In order to reduce weight, we used dried foods mainly, although wherever possible fresh food was included in our diet. Usually, only 2 of us got up to prepare breakfast, and it was served to the rest of us in bed. After that huge meal, the weather relented, and it turned out to be one of the best days in the fortnight. Even on the way up, we had some magnificent views down Glen Etive and across to Perthshire Hills Moor, which has some wonderful rock climbs on its north and east faces. Yes, snow, at the beginning of August. We found about a dozen patches during the fortnight, all on sheltered or north faces of mountains over 3,500 feet. Looking over Lochearnhead to Bencruachan and Lochearnhead, and in the other direction, Ben Nevis with a light dusting of snow, and Bidin Nambian overlooking Glen Coe. After a short rest, on to our next peak, our highest day, Mille Abirit, 3,636 feet high. Although the minimum requirement for the bit 50 was 2,000 feet, the majority of the peaks we climbed in this fortnight were over 3,000, giving us a chance to climb some really exciting mountains. Behind the peak you can see Glenach Moor, one of the wettest and most desolate places in Scotland, and that's saying something. More dangerous going down than up. You can see why one needs a strong pair of boots for this type of hiking, and also why we had so much trouble with weak knees and ankles. In some places it got even worse and we had to indulge in some actual rock climbing. It was late in the evening when we got back to our tents, which we now had to take down as the van was taking us back to the station. There we would have a good feed and a good night's rest, before going off to a different range of mountains tomorrow. This enabled us to have a very enjoyable fortnight climbing in some magnificent mountains. Our thanks are due to the base team and to Melville Balsillie for his conception of the station. It may not be everybody's idea of pleasure, but I know we all enjoyed ourselves immensely.